Hello, guys. Mark Angelo here. It's been a while since I've shared what's on my mind, what has been capturing my attention. Um, been pretty quiet and not really interested in being part of the internet wars, the constant arguing and lack of proper communication that is created online. So I've stepped back for a while and not really shared my opinions on what I'm seeing and this whole devolution of humanity. It saddens me to see where humans have gone and where they're heading. It saddens me to see that something as simple as getting in your car and driving has become tremendously dangerous. People get behind the wheel and they don't think, they just react, and they're just carelessly utilizing a technology that is meant to make our lives better, and they've made it into a weapon. Everything from the car you drive to this form of communication has become a weapon. People no longer see eye to eye. We've become estranged to our humanity. And that really saddens me. At the same time, it is grotesque to see. There are so much division, or there is so much division in the world, and it's progressively getting worse. We have to understand that there's a force out there that's pretty much against us. And what this force is exactly, I can't pinpoint it or give it a label or a name, but there is something, and I think all of you could feel it, could sense it, could palpate it. It's become more and more evident with each passing day. Whether we are an experiment of sorts, whether we have created this ourselves, sort of like a matrix, or whether there's something or some things pulling strings and we're unaware or incapable of seeing it. Mind you, many are waking up and to know that something is not right. They can't quite put their fingers on it, but something's not right. All that I know is that if we don't start doing something different, this may not end well. And what do I mean by do something different? Well, first of all, learning to analyze things a little bit better and understanding things with a clearer mind. Understanding that we're not put on this planet to consume things, to build our bank account, and to self-fulfill. I know that most of us are a byproduct of trauma. And that's not just talking about people in the LGBTQ community. I'm talking about humanity in general. We've all had to face traumatic childhood, traumatic events, even as a species. And so these traumas have created actions that we end up acting out. Whether it's harming ourselves, harming each other, harming our planet. It's all based on traumatic events. The sooner we learn this and the sooner we start going within and trying to heal these traumas And I don't have the answers because every single one of us has a different need and a different way that we need to heal ourselves. You got to find that for yourself, whether it's through meditation, yoga, breathing, if you're a religious person, getting involved in your religion, whatever it is, whatever it's going to take to help you heal, then by all means. But we have to heal. Because until, number one, we are aware that we're in need of healing. And every single one on this planet has something they have to heal from, and some multiple things. Until you realize that, nothing is going to change. If you continue to ignore, if you continue to allow your ego to take over and think that everything is okay and that you're justifying everything that you do, and not really going deep within and understanding that as humans, we have made many mistakes. But if we continue just to sweep things under the rug and not really looking at it, not really wanting to talk about it and blaming other people, it's not going to get fixed. And trust me, even if you work on it hard, it doesn't guarantee you to get fixed. But at least you're heading towards the right direction, and at least you're having some awareness. At least we're trying to communicate and look each other in the eye and try to understand that although we may not like one another for whatever reason because we're different from one another, but if we could learn to understand, communicate, and find some common ground, then we just might stand a chance. I look at all the stuff that's happening, in the world, all the constant fighting, the constant greed, the constant finger pointing, this political, financial turmoil that we're seeing with each passing day. Everything is skyrocketing. Nothing seems like it used to be before. And I know that every generation says that because there's always been some sort of turmoil and change and things that we are all up in arms about. But something feels very different during these times. And I don't know if it's part of our awakening, the quickening that's taking place, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. But something is happening. And we have to become aware of this. We have to stop pointing fingers at one another. We have to stop, if you're a detransitioner trying to obliterate, destroy, the whole concept of transitioning. Everyone has to go through it. You can't stop somebody from doing something. If they don't go through that road, they won't grow up. They won't establish what they need to establish for themselves. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's part of the path that some of us have had to take. And what we can do to make it better is try to be understanding of one another. Yesterday, we watched an interview between Candace and a trans woman, a young trans woman. And it was a very moving story. And it was also moving because for the first time, we saw that Candace cared. There was this glimpse of trying to understand the path that someone else is taking and the pain that are in. It's for the first time that I've ever seen a conservative really try to have some common ground and decency and respect for someone else, even though they don't agree with the person's choices. But we may not agree with our choices, but we can have some compassion and understanding. Because no one's walked in your shoes, no one's walked in my shoes, no one's walked in each other's shoes. We each have our path to take. And we each do things as a coping mechanism, be it good, bad, or indifferent. It's our coping mechanism. And who is anyone to tell someone, no, your coping mechanism is wrong, it's bad. We each have to travel that road and figure it out for ourselves. And then at the end, if it didn't work out, then that's on you. That's your path. That's your cross to bear. No one has the right to point fingers at you and tell you you were wrong because she had to go through it. Without going through experiences, we can't grow as spirit beings. Everything that I've gone through in my life has had a purpose and has made me the person that I am today. And I have zero regrets because that's the life path that I chose. So what I'm saying is we need to have a little more understanding, hear each other out, and realize that many of us that are part of the LGBTQ community, we have been used by the political system, we have been used by the financial system, and we have mostly been used by the medical system. They're the ones that have gained threefolds on our suffering. And they've made all sorts of promises to us, and we were gullible enough to believe it because when you're in pain, any lifeline they throw at you, you're going to grab onto, and you're going to believe it. So maybe transitioning is not the solution, but it's our solution. It's the best solution that we have found with what we have. So we don't need to hear from people telling us how wrong we are, how deviant we are, how we're going to go to some made-up place called hell because of our choices. Kid yourself not. Every single human being has made terrible choices at some point in their life. Some continue to do so. But it's your life. It's your path. And your path is there to teach you something. It is no one's business to label something good or bad, because there's no such thing as good or bad. Things are because they are, and they're there for a reason. A reason that you may not understand with your 3D eyes and your 3D mind and your 3D ears. A deeper reason, a spiritual reason that may not be explained with human words. So, I know that everyone has their own opinion, and that's okay. We all should have an opinion. But sometimes that opinion should be less argumentative, less territorial, less confrontative, with a more hint of compassion, understanding, and an overall healing hue. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to get all this right someday, and hopefully soon. Because right now, the way the world looks, pretty scary. Pretty scary. But I believe that from all of this craziness that's happening in the world, from all of the grays that we are seeing in this timeline, that something good will come out of it in the end. I know that I've made peace with life and my choices. And I know that I've been all over the place. But that's how you grow and learn. If you're stagnant, if you don't really look at things deeply, if you don't turn things in and out and all around, then you can never learn and grow. This is our playground. And although right now it seems more like a battlefield, within that battlefield, there are lessons to be learned. Within this battlefield, there are wonderful things that will come about. The things that appear tragic, the things that appear horrible are there to help us grow and learn. Let us be kind to one another. Let us understand one another. We may not agree, and it's okay to agree to disagree. But stop obsessing over people's lives And you know who I'm talking about. There's a lot of you out there that's all you do is try to find all sorts of things on trans people and try to analyze them and create these theories. Look, transitioning is not a cure-all. And if somebody ever told you it was, they lied to you. This is just a coping mechanism, something that we did to survive. Whether it's to try to hide behind pain, whether it's to try to mask some sort of trauma, whatever it is, we each have our own reasons why we transitioned. And that's okay. There's no need to justify anything. I did it because I wanted to do it, because I felt that was the thing that I needed to do. And one tends to second guess oneself when other people and other belief systems come into play, like religious guilt, parental guilt, wanting to please other people. In the end, you could only do you. In the end, by doing you, you're spreading love and light in ways beyond your imagination. Because if you can't do you, if you can't be you, then what can you be? Some puppet? Some thing that someone else thinks as ideal? What might be ideal to someone may not be ideal to someone else. What I do know is that as humans, we need to start taking care of ourselves more. Our health as a species is declining. The medical system is taking more and more advantage of you because of it. The introduction of all sorts of chemicals have destroyed your microbiome, has destroyed everything within you, so much so that there are a slew of diseases that continue to rear their ugly heads. Learn you. Learn what your body needs. Sit time alone, meditate, reflect, exercise, eat right. And what eating right means, I can't tell you to eat vegan. I can't tell you to be carnivore. I can't tell you any of that. You've got to figure that out on your own. It takes work and time to get to know what your body needs, but you need to learn to listen. Look, man, I turned 60 in 5 months. And I think I'm doing pretty good, considering what I put my body through. But in all the time that I've put my body through all sorts of craziness, health has always been in the back of my mind. And I've experimented with carnivore, veganism, plant-based, vegetarian, pescatarian, you name it. I've been all over the map. But I always come back to plant-based because that's what makes me feel good. It makes me feel aligned. It spiritually makes me feel right from my head to my toes. Exercise is important, and it always has been, and it always will be. There are times where one becomes neurotic with the fact of putting on a ton of muscle, and that, again, is just part of the trauma. Trying to build this fortress so that no one can break through. But I've learned that working out is about my health. I'm almost 60. And I can't lift like I used to lift when I was in my 20s. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with doing what I can do. And yes, I push myself. I push myself plenty. But you have to know how much to push. Time to rest, time to sleep, time to work out hard, time to reprieve yourself, time to meditate. Balance. Learn what you need to stay away from. The oils, the seed oils, the excess sugar, the things that are processed, those sugary drinks, all the caffeine, all that stuff, alcohol. And I'm not telling you how to live your life and what to do or not to do. That's on you. You got to figure that one on your own. I know for me, processed food is not good. Alcohol is not good. Any kind of recreational app, anything is not good. I try to put the best things, the most utmost energetically high vibrational foods in my body. And I'm learning and growing with each passing day what my body likes and needs. And I suggest that everyone should do that, because that's what really matters. If you're unhealthy, no matter how much money you have, no matter what position you have, if you're not healthy, it matters none, because you can't enjoy anything if you're not healthy. All right, guys, I think I've rambled on enough, but thank you for listening. Like I said, it's been a while. I just had the need to share this with you all. Hope everyone's doing well. I love you guys, but remember to always love yourselves too. Bye-bye.